Are all batteries the same? That's like asking if all soccer players are the same. Take Messi, the most decorated player ever. Is there any other player who has achieved that? No, just him. Now take Duracell. Is there any other battery with power boost ingredients inside? No, just Duracell. Remember, goats only trust goats because they're built different. And Messi only trusts Duracell.
So good, so good, so good.
New summer arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off brands like Rag & Bone, Levi's, Adidas, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Where is Daredevil?
I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated.
We're gonna take this city back.
Over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and it's a hot and sweaty week 10 is the best way to put it. There was cricket all over the country. We had no issues with weather, although I have a feeling one or two people are going to be moaning next weekend that it's too hot, but we can't win in this country, can we? Joining me as always, Mr. Hugh Newsom, who somehow is wearing a hoodie today, but only Hugh would do that.
I've been not too hot all day, although I'm now regretting it. I'm quite hot now, but and I've got a nice hot coffee on the go. But no, it's been a cracking weekend. I got a 3-ball duck. Did I have 3 balls? Might be, yeah, 3-ball duck. So, but we still won, so I don't care. Job done. And I got to sit and chill out for a bit, so it's fine. Yeah.
You got to Chesterfield on Friday and saw a bit of cricket up there, which was quite entertaining at times. And it's a great place to go watch cricket up at Chesterfield, isn't it?
It was a lovely day, wasn't it? It was just a gorgeous summer's day, proper old England emerging from the bowels of the winter. It was just a really, the kind of scene that you'd have seen would have been there 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, maybe. It was a real cricket enthusiast day. It was packed, wasn't it? It was absolutely packed.
Yeah, you did have a bit of a disappointment though, didn't you? So you turn up to go watch Liam Livingstone bat, and he flails one and gets out, and then you had to leave before Jimmy bowls.
I know, yeah. It wasn't a pretty innings. I mean, that's just about what it was from Lancs, but it wasn't a pretty. But Derbyshire did well, so good win. Yeah, good win. But yeah, it's proper summer now, isn't it? Summer has struck. We're in the depths of the bright lights of summer, and we're well into the season. Are we halfway yet? We're not quite halfway yet.
I was looking this morning when getting ready for this, and the some leagues have gone 8 games in, some have got 9, some have gone 10, and a couple have gone 11. So we're literally all over the shop, to be frank. Next week, I would class as the proper halfway point in theory for most leagues. Yeah, we're not quite there yet, but yeah, it's going to be a hot one this week. I think breaking for the weekend, isn't it? So yeah, there's a lot of good cricket around. We saw 70 hundreds, 900 ducks, a nice even 900 ducks. No ties this week. I think just about the first time this season. 71,000 runs scored, 58 fifers. So yeah, improved weather, and the centuries overtake the fifers. It is remarkable how well balanced they are. It's amazing. It's amazing how they, how consistent the two are to each other. It shows you that a fifer is a very similar value to 100. Although I think you can burgle a fifer, can't you? I suppose you could burgle 100 as well if you're facing some rubbish on you. But, I'd say I think it's harder for a player to get 100 than it is to get a fifer. Would you agree? You can just get lucky. I think you can get lucky with a fifer. It's hard to get lucky with a century. But I totally agree, because you can have that bowler who comes on second or third change and they're already 5 down and mops up the tail. Versus the guy who goes in and opens to try and get 100 against the best bowlers. It's It's a difficult. It's a bit like the MVP qualification we're looking at.
Yeah.
Where'd you balance it? And I still think a 4 wickets is equal to about 80, and then the bonuses should be bigger for the 5s and the 100s, and as you go up. But it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. Yeah, I'd say I think being consistently getting 5s is possibly harder than consistently getting 100s.
I agree,
because I think consistently, just every week, just getting 5 wickets shows you that you are absolute top drawer. Whereas, if maybe you're a very strong player in a weaker league, then maybe you can knock out the 100s. I don't know. Yeah, we need to start that debate. So
we will do, definitely. But what we say about consistency, when we come to our batters and bowlers, guess what? There are some of the old names in there, as always. I mean, Death Taxes and Tom Sefton, and it's now becoming Death Taxes and Steve Bullen up at New Farnley. When it comes to scoring hundreds, so it's either Death Taxes or these are just bloody good players, and when they're in form, they're in form. Interestingly, one player who we haven't got on the list this week though is your mate Ben Walkden. He had a week off.
Oh, was he just not playing?
I'm going to check that, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. He either didn't do anything or he had a week off, because to not see him there is very unusual. But Newton and Willows are still top of that league anyway. So let's push on with the first league. It's going to be we're going to go down to the sunny Devon coast and down that way to start with. Last year in the Devon League, it was pretty much Bradninch and Kentisbeer won that reasonably comfortably from Paignton and Exeter. But this year, Bradninch down in 5th, Paignton is 2nd and 3rd. But having come 4th last year, Exmouth are top of the league after 8 games so far and are doing quite nicely, including at the weekend with a huge score there, Hugh.
Exmouth, I think.
Yeah.
If you live in Western Australia, it's Exmouth. If you live in England, it's Exmouth, I think.
Do you know, you think you're right. It's I would have said Sidmouth and Exmouth for some reason, which doesn't make sense,
it's
does it?
Exmouth in Western Australia, I know that much. But there's fewer, I think I am led to believe, I'm not 100% certain, but I think there's fewer coral reefs in Exmouth in Devon than there is in Exmouth in Western Australia. So, but I shall be, although... Yeah, we'll see. Exmouth, 307 all out, 44 overs, absolutely smashed Hatherley. Ed Butler, 95. Hatherley got 173 all out in 35 overs. So Cam Kidd with 33 for 36. Paul Hurd and Charlie Presswell got the wickets for Hatherley. But it was a comprehensive defeat there for Exmouth. They're doing it very nicely. Paignton, Tavistock. I always think of Tavistock Square when I think of Tavistock, so I assume it is named after the Tavistock in Devon. Paignton 169 all out in 41 overs, and Tavistock all out for 121. So they bucked the trend collectively in that match of the run scoring across the country. Ibelela Gamana, he got 60. He was the top scorer in the match. Rory Medlock 5 for 45, both for Paignton were the difference makers there. Sanford. They played Sidmouth and they got over the line batting second. Sidmouth put up 223 for 6 in 50 overs. Taylor Ingram Hill with 64 not out, run a ball pace. Then Harry Southgate got 74 for Sanford and they knocked it off with just over an over to go. Matt Forey, 4 for 36 in 10 overs for Sidmouth, but it wasn't enough. Sanford with the win there.
Yeah.
Exeter Cornwood. Cornwood batted first. They're all out in 37 overs. Nobody particularly troubling the scorers there. Cam Fraser, 3 for 17. Josh Knott, 3 for 29. And then Exeter knocked it off pretty comfortably in 20 overs. Oliver Gribble with 54. Seb Linnett with 43. A very early finish there. Brednish and Kentisbeer. Plymouth, big game. Brednish, 268 for 7 in 50 overs. And then Plymouth weren't able to get there. They finished 20 runs short. James Webb, 66 for them. Dan Hardy, 76 not out for Bradninch, was the main scorer in the game. Josh Trinner, 3 for 54, also for Bradninch. And then that's it. That's it from the Devon League. So I thought that was one more game. So that's it.
It is. And Kigizu Rapilana sounds like another South African there in that Plymouth side, doing okay with a couple of wickets, 20 runs. But I think the side I just want to sort of keep an eye on there, which you have to, you get to this stage now. Next week they're one game, but they'll be halfway. Sidmouth, they haven't won a game yet. and all of a sudden 23 points behind, almost halfway through, they look in trouble. Hatherley and Tavistock, the two sides who got promoted, they're in 8th and 9th place, so finding it maybe a touch difficult there at the start with it. It's not a league that gets a lot of headlines, the Devon League, is it? It doesn't seem to hit the numbers with us very often, but clearly there's some quality down there, and we know, for example, that the NCCA side don't do bad, so they're breeding them well. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, Sidmouth will be disappointed with that. I mean, the 2-2-3, they would probably hope to defend that, and they nearly did. But looking at the ball-by-ball data, I think Sanford were pretty comfortable. They didn't have to do too much to get over the line. They didn't have to take too many risks later on. They sort of cruised there. It wasn't a flurry at the end. So, but Sidmouth will be disappointed that they weren't able to get that one.
Absolutely. Now, going back to the numbers for this week, I've just done some quick stats just to absolutely agree with what you said. So far this season, we've had 457 centuries, 444 fifers. So they're within a couple of percent of each other. So regardless of the weather, regardless of the rain some weeks and some people getting to play and some not, it clearly does balance itself out, doesn't it? And it does beg the question, is a fifer as valuable as a century then? Because it's there and thereabouts, isn't it?
I suppose you're getting, some of the games you're only getting, a couple of wickets, people knocking off the runs comfortably. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to look into it more. But yeah, it's amazing how close they are.
It is, yeah, definitely. It's also the 4th week out of 10 without a tie. We are disappointed. We need these ties. The closest game this week, from what I could see, was the Castleford win. Castleford won with I think it was a wicket off the last ball they took to win by 1 run. We got a message from the Castleford boys on Saturday night to say, another final ball win. There's nothing wrong with that in the slightest, is it? It's got to be quite sort of tense. But to beat Woodhouse Grange in that game, quite a high-scoring game as well. I'm just looking at that one. Woodhouse Grange 261 chasing 262. You've got to feel quite comfortable when you're getting close to that. But now Luke Edwards with a ton for Castleford, and our old friend David Wainwright with 65 in that game. So not going to talk anything else about Yorkshire today. We've done a lot of Yorkshire over the last couple of weeks. But we are going to talk about a league very close to our hearts next, and that is the Derbyshire Premier League. So of all the leagues that we know reasonably well, bear in mind where we live, this is the one that we know quite well. Now, last year in the Derbyshire Premier League, it was Ockbrook and Borrowash won it quite comfortably, and they won it quite comfortably with Sandy Acre and A and B. It's the changing of the guard, it seems, right now, though, because Sandy Acre are in 5th, A and B, Alveston Bolton are in 6th, and Ockbrook are in 8th place. And at the top, Hugh's been there today. Denby, one of the nicest little setups around, actually, and Derbyshire use it for second 11 games and for some of the women's county games, etc. Followed by Spondon, who've got Steph Muller and Ben Wright's come back and he's plundering runs. But they're already starting to break away from those guys last year. Ockbrook, Alveston, and Sandy Acre. It's looking tough for them already, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Denby just a really experienced side. They've got really good players of the right age, haven't they? And they're a big local core, been together for years. They're just experienced, so they're always going to be there or thereabouts. They didn't have an overseas pro last year. They do have one this year, which has added that bit of depth. Add a couple of other teams, maybe not performing as you'd expect. So it's very hard to look past them, isn't it? In their sort of going forward for the rest of the season. But it's cricket. Things can happen. Holidays can happen. Or in Denby's case, darts tournaments can happen. It only takes a run with a certain couple of their lads who are pretty useful at darts. And then it's a different weekend. So the Spondon Denby game in a few weeks is going to be an interesting one. But
it is. And Denby, it is Pete Burgoyne, who's one of those dart players.
I think so. I think there might be another lad as well. But yeah, Pete Burgoyne is a very, very good darts player.
He got 62 on Saturday in their win against Alveston and Bolton. Shows how important they are there. But there was Joe Wilson taking 3 for 35, and Mitch Wagstaff got 40 for A&B, but well and truly outdone by Thomas Knight with 106 not out. But chasing down 224. They couldn't quite get their A&B at 205 all out with a couple of overs to go. I think that's a bit of a marker, I think, beating A&B. There's no two ways about it. But do you want to take us through the rest of the games there in the Derbyshire League, mate?
Yeah. I'll start with Swarkston. Ticknell 137 all out. I mean, they've been going pretty well, but didn't quite manage it. Swarkston been involved in a lot of low-scoring games, and they got it 9 down. So it's a really, really close game of cricket. Rex Tooley got 73 for Ticknell. Nobody else getting a huge amount. And then the top scorer for Swarkston was Thomas Hamilton with 23. Matt Smythe with 5 for 30. And Ajay Kunti again for Swarkston, 4 for 31. He's having a serious season. If he hasn't got it going with the bat, he's got it going with the ball. So he's done a huge amount of work this season for them, and it's crucial in this game. 40 overs it took Swarkston to get to 138 to get the win. So a really tight season-defining performance from them. Most importantly, when you look at that scorecard, they were 102 for 9. And it was the number 10 and 11 who brought them home. That if you get your number 10 and 11 to bring you home from that, to get another 35, 36 runs, you've had a good day, haven't you? Yeah, Spondon had a pretty comfortable win over Orawaz. High scoring game. Spondon put up 349 for 6. Justin Watson 83 off just 35 balls. That was quick. Stefan Muller been very consistent again. 57 off 59 with the main destroyers there. But Orawaz had a good go, 310 for 9, but still finished nearly 40 short. Tom Sherritt was 69, James Burton, and Isaac Harrison 4 for 46, and Lucas Green 3 for 70. Lucas Green's younger brother of Jake Green. Jake Green's just been called up to the England Under-19 Invitational 11, so look forward to seeing him there. Lucas's younger brother, I think he's 16-ish, something along those lines. So yeah, it's nice to see him doing so well, 3 for 70 in the game. We touched on the Denby game. So the Belper Meadows, Belper had a decent start to the season and looked to be a good side this year, but they weren't good enough to beat Ockbrook. All out for 121. Zimmers Deploy 61 not out for Ockbrook was the difference maker with George Brandrick. Comfortable win in the end for them in just 25 overs. And Duffield, fresh off a rather car crash of a weekend before, it bounced back against one of the best sides of the league, Sandy Acre. It wasn't enough. 205 for 9 they made in 50 overs. Hashan Ramanyaki 90 not outs. Tim Williscroft with 39. But John Jordison's been around the leagues for quite a while, and Mohammed bin Naeem, who's a Derbyshire contracted player, he got 2 for 23, along with Mohammed got 85 off 62 balls for Sandy Acre, and they got it done 6 down with 13 overs to go. But I think Duffield will be reasonably pleased with bouncing back after a bit of a heat the week before. So yeah, that's the Derbyshire League.
Most definitely. And I think the one note I would say in that league table at the moment is Chesterfield not really had the rub of the green yet. They've got a game in hand, being in second to bottom. But Eckington, who got promoted, they are bottom at the moment and not faring as well as Duffield, who they came up with. I've got this funny feeling looking at the Derbyshire League this year, though, Hugh. It does look like that archetypal, absolutely anybody can beat anybody, especially in that bottom 6. So it could go all the way, couldn't it? Yeah, it's been good. It's been sort of check in Saturday night when my game's finished and just see what's been going on. And you wouldn't be winning a lot of money as a betting man, I don't think. The favourites are not coming out on top fairly consistently. No. So, yeah, I reckon it'll settle in the second half of the season. I think it normally is, like a lot of these leagues, they're sort of relatively, everyone's playing each other for the first time. You kind of get, and then you get a feel for where things are going in the second half of the season. Caveat that with injuries and availability issues, summer holidays and the like, which hopefully no self-respecting cricketer is going on holiday until at least September. No comment. Talking of which, we don't, as everyone will tell, we haven't got CricX with us this week because it's fair to say that they are in an incredibly busy period right now, and Taff is tied up doing all kinds of stuff for players who are looking to go to Australia and New Zealand next weekend, next winter. Next weekend, so, be nice, yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice, very nice. So we'll give him that excuse, but it doesn't stop us doing our top scorers, and we'll look at that right now because, to be frank, none of his lot are going to touch it anyway. Biggest score of the weekend by an absolute mile in the end, 10%. Elliot Callis with a 200 for Cookney against Clipston. Really big score, that one. The next closest to him, Sahid Chauhan, with 104 for Clipston. And 368 for Cookney. When I saw that score, I thought that one's going to be right up there in terms of the big one for the weekend. But there was an even bigger one, which I'll come to shortly. But do you want to look at those top scorers, Hugh?
Yeah. So Elliot Callis there, Cookney Clipston 200. Off 152 balls. Matt Robertshaw puts us in Lawrence against Morley in the Bradford League, 181 not out. Terrific knock from him. Tied to here, back to back, I think, hundreds for Woodall Spa. He's got 175 off just 132 balls. Look out. I think if he starts to go, then there won't be many people stopping him. Lachlan Shaw for Roffey against Three Bridges in the Sussex Leagues. He's got 163 off 114 balls. And Chris Becker for Didsbury, 163 off 154 against Oldley Edge in Cheshire. That's the top five, but there's still plenty of others there. Apparently we're getting harassed for, is Ewan Cox going to be mentioned? No, Ewan Cox in his 157 not out for Fine and Dolben in the Northants League is not going to get mentioned.
No, didn't get mentioned. He was only 8th in the country there. Sorry, boys. But looking down the rest of the list there, there's one I want to pick out. Mohammed Sudayas for Murfield Parish Cavaliers, promoted into the Huddersfield League this year. This was not only the most runs in any game over the weekend, 731, but also the biggest chase. So Skelmanthorpe go out and score 363 all out, with Osman Butt scoring 120, Mark Askham 66. You've come off the pitch, nice warm day, 363 all out. You're feeling pretty confident, I think is the best way to put it. You then take the first wicket at 88 for 1. They've got off to a decent start, I think it's fair to say, Murfield Parish Cavaliers. But what you've got to look at there is Mohammed Sadias scored 135 off 67 balls, which absolutely drove them to the finishing line before Dave Bolt came in, scored 81 off 47. So they chased down 363 with 2.5 overs to go for the biggest chase of the weekend at Murfield Parish. And the most remarkable thing for me there, Hugh, is promoted to the Premier League this year, won their first game of the season. They hadn't won a league game since until, on Saturday. And what a way to do it. That's it's some chase, that, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. What I'm picking out, Byron Hatton Low, Papawick, 117. He also got 117 last week. So maybe that's lucky or unlucky. But it's his number. Back-to-back 117s. A bit of a strange one, that, but he'll take that. And Sami Patel actually got a bat. He got 104 not out. It's rare he seems to get a bat these days. But he was required this week and he's casually strolled off with 104 not out. Pete Worthington at Mildenhall, a nice name to see pop up there. He's got 101 not out for Mildenhall as well in the East Anglia Premier League.
There's another couple of names I just want to mention, and all I'm going to say is Cream rises to the top, and we know what happens when these guys get runs. Ian Coben, 107 for Formby. One of your favourites, Hugh, Alec Drury, 108 for Driffield Town. Now, we know each time Alex starts to get into form, what happens there.
Yeah, look out.
Rolls on. Johnny Connell, 113 for Henley.
Off the back of, what did he get in second team cricket this week? 150 odd, was it?
A big score. And Mark Hodgson, captain at Oundle Town. I think that's back-to-back for him now, getting tons or at least very close to it. So all of a sudden, you've just got guys coming through who's like, okay. But there was a name that I think we both missed because it's one of those ones we forget. 127 for Sevenoaks and Vine, Nick Compton. Away he goes. But my favourite cricketer at the moment, as everyone knows, he's had a couple of weeks off. I believe there was a little injury. But he comes back on Saturday with 130 not out of 133 balls for Steve Bullen of New Farnley. He was on a right old roll before a couple of weeks of injury, back now, and then helped to drive their New Farnley through to the next round of the National Championship, which we'll come to a bit later. let's have a look at another one of the leagues while we're pondering around now. Let's go down to the one league where there's actually basically no change at the top. First last year were Harpenden, second last year were Totteridge Mill Hillians, and in the Hertfordshire Premier League, Hugh, it's absolutely identical right now. Harpenden on 148 points, Totteridge on 129. Potters Bar and West Hart, who came third and fourth last year, are fourth and third right now. Talk about literally mirror image, this league.
That's it. We're in the time cricket section at the moment.
We are.
I think we're in time section, so that it's bat as long as you want and see what you can get. So I don't know if is it capped at 60 overs. Yeah, I think
it's capped at 60, but it doesn't really matter because there was all wins and there was no draws.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It seems to do that. Start at the top, Flitwick against Radlets. Radlets, they batted first 214 for 9 and 58 overs. Thomas fielding 59 off 120 balls. And then Flitwick got it relatively, very, very comfortably, really, in 38 overs. Blake Nicoteras, 217 for 4. They got Blake Nicoteras 90 off 102. Terrific performance from him, for the Australian. 4 down with off 38 overs. That's a quick bit of work from them. Hertford versus Bishop Stortford at Bishop Stortford. Hertford batted first 267 for 8 in 60 overs. Hugh Kavanagh 81, Will Reyes 78, Dom Clutterbuck 562. Careful how I pronounce that. And then Bishop Stortford chasing fell a fair way short. Well, not massively short, 25 runs short. Adam Brassingthwaite 86, and Adam Carson for Hertford 5 for 64. But yeah, they ended on 243 all out of 51 overs. Harpenden had a relatively comfortable time of it against West Herts. Oh, no, they didn't. It was 8 down. Sorry, Harpenden didn't have a relatively comfortable time of it, but they got the job done. West Herts, 218 all out in 57 overs. Primal Pereira, 54, was the top scorer for West Herts. It was a bit of a team effort getting up to that score, and then Harpenden got it with 6 balls to go, finishing 8 down. Ollie Bashner with 50. Again, runs spread throughout. Jaffa Chahan with 3 for 74 for West Herts. Jesse Tashkov for 4 for 65 for Harpenden. And then Totteridge Mill Hillians. Totteridge did have a fairly easy time of it. Broxbourne bowled out for 189 in 49 overs. Raf McMillan with 38 was the top scorer for them. Sahan Adisha with 4 for 54 for Totteridge, who got 190 for 1 in 27 overs. A certain Adam Rossington, 106 off 81, kept company by Jack Keeping, 51 not out. And then Uwe Shah only having 10 balls to knock off the winning runs. He got 60 not out as well, so big performance from them. Then the final game in the league at the weekend, Potters Bar, Old Owens. Old Owens bowled out for 122 in 38 overs. Nobody particularly troubling the scorers, but Callum Lloyd got 5 for 46. Potters Bar, Reece Hussain, 42 of 57 balls, was the top scorer. They got it 5 down in just 25 overs. Jack Wickham, 3 for 27, was the best of the bowlers for Old Owens.
Absolutely. And names that stood out there for me along the way, that is Yorkshire's Jaffa Chauhan playing for West Herts. To pull him into the side's not bad. Didn't get them the result, obviously, but well done there. But the other one that stood out for me was Jake Tarlin. So Jake Tarlin scored 79 for Flitwick in that chase to beat Radlett on Saturday. He then decided to take that form to the NWCA the following day and scored 108 off 52 in a 20 over game. This form lark just seems to be carrying through at the moment more than ever I've seen before. I saw Joe Pocklington score a 70 or an 80. It was in 2 back-to-back games yesterday to NWCA. So again, players who are in form, we've got to back them. You've got to back them all the way through at the moment.
That's it. You got Johnny Connell with 84, Sam Afton 74. You mentioned Joe there. He also got 67 not out as well, so he's had a very good weekend. Connor had a 6 for 9.
As you do.
Hamid Kadri 4 for 7 as well. So a few lads getting wickets and runs. But yeah, Jake Tarlin was top NWCA run scorer of the weekend. Patrick Ashlin with the other 100 there. Tom Frayne, 97 for Cumbria against Cheshire.
definitely.
All rather quick. We're in T20 mode at the moment, aren't we?
They're in T20 mode yet, so very quick. But I think going back to the table there in Hertfordshire, you have literally got the top 5 from last year in exactly the same place, bar one. Old Owens and Broxbourne, who got promoted last year. Old Owens struggling a little, well, more than struggling a little bit at the bottom, having not won a game yet. Broxbourne in 6th place, they're keeping themselves up there. But Old Owens, the 7 games out of 18 gone, 48 points, and already 32 points behind Radlett. You've got to be looking at yourself going, we're going to have some problems here if we're not careful, aren't we?
That's it. You're just talking about Connors there, but that's just, he's got 6 wickets for 9 in 4 overs in a T20. He opened the bowling.
Yeah.
And he's just shot them down, and the game's done, isn't it? The game's done.
Absolutely. Literally
in the first few balls. Just looking at the ball by ball, wrong one. Looking at the right ball by ball, dot wicket first over. So it was a double wicket maiden for Connor Haddow in the first over of the game, and that's game, set, and match, isn't it?
Yeah. T20, you've basically done the job in your first over, more or less, haven't you? You're talking about Connor, so let's talk bowlers around the country at the weekend. We're going to talk Lancashire League in a minute, but leading the way there, Barrett Tripathy, 8 for 40 off 15 overs against Darwin for Burnley. But it's the guy in second place whose name just keeps popping up. Yeah. Khalid Usman, 8 for 57 for Rainhill. Yeah, there's just names popping up there that we know very well, aren't there?
Well, he just does it year after year, doesn't he? He also got 38 at the top of our all-rounders chart this weekend, 8 for 57 and 38. Useful contribution. Lee Hawthorne, Loddington and Morsley, 7 for 59 in the Northants League against Oundle. Jonty Burrow with 7 for 71 for Buckhurst Hill against Hutton in the Essex League. And then Dees Klein, surprise, 6 for 11 in 9 overs for Rothley Park against Sarby in the Leicestershire and Rutland League. Shafi Kafari also got 71 and 5 for 20. Top effort from him. And Birat Tripathi there is in my all-rounders chart despite getting a 0. He got a duck to go with his 8 for 40. Yeah, not sure that counts when you get don't count as an all-rounder, do when you get a duck. But yeah, his wicket scoring propelled him up there. So he could have got a minus and still been up there with his 8 for.
Absolutely. So you've got to look at, after Dieter Klein in 5th place as the best bowler in the country, EJ Lafferty for Checkley against Hemheath in a quite ridiculous game, considering last week we were talking about big runs being scored in the North, South and South Cheshire. Hemheath bowled out for 78, with EJ Lafferty taking 6 for 14, but they didn't get it too easily. 81 for 4. Okay, it was only 11 overs, but losing 4 wickets, little bit of nerves in there for Checkley. That was the fastest game to finish over the weekend. 42 overs in total. So you're done in a couple of hours, aren't you? Full stop there. But then directly below EJ Lafferty, Thomas Sefton, 6 for 18. And then Harry Budilla, 6 for 23. Again, this is where the names start to pop up. Looking down the rest of the fifers that happened at the weekend, names that come to mind straight away. Sam Everson for Bourne, Matt Smythe for Ticknell with another fifer. Abdu Dayan Galliam for Netherfield. He was scoring big runs last week. He's taken wickets this time. And then I've got to try and do this one just for the sake of saying, for Brentwood, 5 for 44. Donald Delimith, Hermananda, Gawasen, Arachigi. So why the hell the scorers haven't actually put that down in the admin to just have a short name? It would be useful, wouldn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, that's me. I've got no chance of saying that. Yeah.
Sam Marsh, 5 for 44 for Ormskirk. Madhushankar, 5 for Garstang. Henry Brooks on Warwickshire's books. On Worcester's books, 5 for 55 for Noel Dorridge. Not a bad if you would bring them out on a Saturday, is it?
No. Just on this is Denal Hermananda is the shortened name of Gaswain Archigi Denal Dilemeth Hermananga. But I think they just shorten it to make people like me feel a bit better, because they've obviously got these hugely long names in Sri Lanka that is to do with their parentage and all the rest of it. And they must just come over here and just feel sorry for us and just go, look, I'll just give you a short name, because you just can't cope with it, can you? So thank you very much, whoever came up with giving themselves slightly shorter names so that idiot people like us can pronounce them.
Absolutely. Now, talking of idiot people like us, let's talk about the league that makes us all look like idiots when we see what goes on up there. The Lancashire Cricket League, I mean, to this day, it's the most... I am going to put it out there. I still think it is possibly overall the most fun league up there because, A, you get the most random scores left, right and centre.
Yeah.
Never know what's coming. B, you get the biggest crowds in the entire country going to watch the games. And C, they allow sub-pros. So whilst they've got some good pros up there, if someone's not around, you get another one in. So actually...
they're not just allowed, they have to have a sub-pro, aren't they? That's the rule.
Exactly.
You have to have a sub-pro. Yes.
Yeah. The fact that they've also got one of the most active websites in the entire country, putting news on it on a daily basis. Congratulations to the Lancashire League for keeping themselves right up there all the time. But it's been a bit of a different league this year to watch when it comes to the results. So last year, our friends at Burnley struggled, it's fair to say. They really struggled
towards the end of the season, didn't they? But
yeah, they came in 9th place and avoided relegation. But this year, they're in 2nd place behind Walsden, who came 3rd last year, and starting to just get on a roll. They were last year's champions, Lower House, who had a fabulous win yesterday, which we'll talk about. But at the bottom, Enfield promoted, struggling. Clitheroe, who came 4th last year, 2nd to bottom. That's a bit of a surprise. But some great games up there yesterday. It was really interesting scores, I think, Hugh.
Yeah. It's still fairly tight, isn't it? There's only a few games separated Enfield at bottom and sort of Lower House, Todmorden in the middle there. So it's definitely a long way to go. This was a Sunday game, not good for National Club Championship, but good for the Lancashire League. Greenmount 287 for 6 in 50 overs. They got it done pretty comfortably against Enfield. Travis Townsend 113 not out of just 72 balls. Callum Hunter also got 3 for 62 for them. Todmorden, Clitheroe. Todmorden batted second. Clitheroe were bowled out for 221 and 50 overs. Ali Ross 102 not out. Diego Rossier was 64, but it wasn't enough. Todmorden relatively comfortably with 6 overs to go, 222 for 5. Charlie Atkinson 90 off 106 balls. Ali Ross also chipping in with a wicket to go with his 100, but it wasn't. Like I say, it wasn't enough for them. Burnley, very, very comfortable win. 3-2-4 for 4. Ockart Erasmus, 104 not out. Ryan Canning, 72. Callum Clark also with 48. They wrapped that up in 50 overs and then bowled Darwin out in just 31 overs, 105 on the board. Nobody particularly nobody particularly troubling the scorers. But there's our Bharat Tripathi with his 8 for 40, winning the game emphatically. And then Ramsbottom, Littleborough bowled out for 105 and 43. Karag Karuna, 4 for 28 off 15 overs, did the damage for Ramsbottom, and then they knocked it off very comfortably. Tom Parton and Chirag Karuna also with the bat, 41 not out, 47 not out, respectively. They got that 25 overs, just 1 down. Norden Haslingden game added to the lopsided nature of the league this weekend. Norden 308 for 6, Jack Taylor 128, James Price 108 not out. And then Haslingden bowled out in 26 overs for 97. Oliver Cameron 31 not out was the only person getting any runs. Oliver Makin with 4 for 30 for Norden, to go with a few others chipping in across the board. Rizwan Sadiq 1 for 2 in his 2 overs to get the job done. So it was a rather lopsided weekend. Oh, and the Lower House game, sorry, missing the one at the bottom. Lower House 311 for 9 in 50 overs. This was a more usual one-sided game. 311 for 9 in 50 overs. Keegan DeVries with 18-9, and then Wellsden, they made it to 249 in 45 overs before being bowled out. So Dushan of Amukti with 52 to go with 2 for 71. But it was a comfortable win for Lower House by 60 runs, but not quite the lopsided nature of some of the other games in the league.
Yeah, and I would say, looking as an entire neutral looking outside in, important that Lower House beat Walsden there, because Walsden are now only 8 points ahead at the top of the league. That was only their second loss. Another win, and they're starting to stretch it straight away from last year's champions. I think it would be wrong of me not to point out that two of the players there's the runs for Lower House, Keegan De Vries and Shaukat Ali, both second team players breaking through. So there's a bit of depth there coming through.
That's what you need, isn't it?
Yeah, or is it lack of availability? One or the other. But you just don't know.
Well, if your second team lads can get in regardless and get the winning runs, then bingo.
Yeah. Well, it's Shaukat Ali, 51 and 4 for 86, and he's more or less a second team player most of the time. Not going to complain about that in the slightest, are they?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. Very good.
Good stuff. That's the Lancashire League, and we'll keep following these leagues, doing 4 every week as we do week in, week out now. Try to keep ourselves sane by not trying to do too many. But we do have to add an extra competition to this week's to talk about what happened yesterday in the National Club Championship. We get a bit excited by it. Everyone knows that it's the one that we follow in, basically week in, week out as it goes through the season.
Well, it's not week in, week out, is it? It's
no, true.
It's
every 3 weeks.
It's month in, month out now, because we've split into the national rounds. Right?
But we have now got to the end of the group stages. So for those of you who haven't listened to us before, 265 teams entered, and they split them into 16 groups with 2 preliminary rounds to get to 16 groups. We've now narrowed it down up to yesterday to the 16 group finals, 32 teams. And we sit here this morning, the weather was good, and we've just got 16 left in the competition after some great games and some very sort of almost lopsided games in the end yesterday. I think the game I was really impressed with in particular was all the way down south, where Banstead scoring 258 for 9 against Wimbledon would have been feeling reasonably comfortable there at 40 overs until Wimbledon 259 for 1. Our old friend Tim Lloyd, 107 off 83 balls not out, and Jack Boyle, 116 off 57 not out. They took them down. Bear in mind, this is our 40 overs originally. 26.5 overs they scored their 259. They basically went at 10 and over from start to finish. That's some going there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that caught my eye as well. I was looking at potential outcomes before this. I think you would probably have, if you're a betting man, you'd have probably gone certainly with Wimbledon there. Bath had another comfortable win as well. But then looking down, there's quite a few upsets around some of the rest of the league. So I will start from the top. Bristol, Bath 102. For 2, chasing down Bristol's 179 all out in 36 overs. Ben Wells with 47. Great performance there to get it done very, very comfortably in 24 overs. So another comfortable win there. Yeah, that Wimbledon game, just the 66 overs across the board. It wasn't the only short game, was it? In a certain game we went to, possibly a little bit shorter than that. I'll jump to that one straight away, although it will throw me out of my loop. Ockbrook and Borrowash. There we go. Kimberley bowled out for 82 in just 30 overs. Ockbrook knocking it off in 14. Talk us through that game, Ian, because that was you spent half of the afternoon there. I
spent half the afternoon there. It was 42 overs in total. And it's fair to say Kimberley came in there in rather good form, having won 11 from 11 in the Nottinghamshire League. They beat Hucknall, who were in second place in the Nottinghamshire League the day before, comfortably. Rock up at Ockbrook. I can't see anything in that pitch that made it look like a 80-odd all-out. And it was proven by Ockbrook knocking it off very, very comfortably. I think the guys there and Alex King, the skipper, will just put it down to it's one of those days. It happens.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, it's back-to-back. You're not quite necessarily as engaged sometimes, are you? And it can work both ways, that. So, yeah, it seemed like they just didn't have as good a game. But I'll jump to the Spondon game. Spondon backed up their big performance from Saturday. Hucknall put up 274 for 7 in their 40 overs. I arrived about 3 overs in, or about 2 overs in, and there's about 50 on the board for Spondon. Ben Wright absolutely went off. He was 101 off 41 balls when he got out. Steph Muller accompanied him to 61 off 44. Got a little bit sticky through the middle patches for Spondon, because it was still a big score they were chasing even after those two got out. But Justin Watson with 35 from 18 sort of sealed the deal. They got it with 4 overs to go, but it was looking at one point like it was going to be over in 25. So I think Hucknall will be relatively pleased that they took it so deep. But yeah, it was a comfortable win in the end. But so the 2 Derbyshire clubs beating the 2 Nottinghamshire clubs, and I can't remember them that last happened. I think the Notts clubs have had the wood over the Derbyshire clubs for the last few years. Just running down some of the other, I won't whiz through all of these, but Prestwich, Leyland had a big win over Prestwich. Woodland, South North. I wasn't sure which way that one was going to go. South North bowled out for 114, trying to chase down 230. So a big shift there. Sawston had a big win against Brentwood. That was a big one, wasn't it? I mean,
that was a shock to me. Well, no, you can't say it was a shock, but I can say the way it was won. For Brentwood to be all out 164, chasing 268, that really did surprise me. See how quickly they were bowled out. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a big competition to get up for, isn't it? So it's very hard to win back to back. And obviously Brentwood won it 2 years ago, didn't get there. And then, they've been knocked out here again. But Sawston, dark horses could be, to be a side as good as Brentwood. I wouldn't have thought. I think we know where we think. Well, one of the finalists will be, and I would suggest it's New Farnley. They beat York. To beat York, who are an exceptional side. And they beat them pretty comfortably in the end. York putting up 267, Braden Shaper with 108, Tom Lawton 84, so 267, and New Farnley got it with 4 overs to go, 4 down. Alex Lilly 91, Ed Brown, Ryan McHenry also getting big scores. So yeah, it's hard to look past the depth of New Farnley, don't you think?
Is Gary Knight's listening to you, knowing that Ormskirk are going up to New Farnley next? That's the one thing I'd say about the next round. I'll be there. I've already committed it. I'm at New Farnley versus Ormskirk. The one thing I would say about both those sides is they don't know how to lose most of the time. They really do know how to get it. I mean, I saw that score yesterday, looking from afar, and saw what York were doing at New Farnley, and I thought, that's still going to take some chasing that. But when you look at the scores and watch what happened in there, Alex Lilly coming in, he's turned himself from being a bowler who bats to a batter who might bowl out, in my opinion, and batting extremely well to score 91. Ed Brown 73 not out was off 35 balls. But then even at the end, I've got to call him Glory Hunter. I did text him last night to say congratulations. But Fletcher Coots coming in at the end of that game for New Farnley. They were going at a decent pace and it was looked as though it was going to be reasonable. But Fletcher coming in, scoring 20 off 11 balls, including a 6 to win. If you're going to do it, let's do it with style, shall we? But Braden Shaper had already scored 108 in that game off 100 balls. And we know how good he can be when it comes to that sort of level. And is that a marker for New Farnley? Full stop going through? You think so?
Yeah, it's hard. They were you'd back York to beat most teams, I would think, based on their depth, and you'd back New Farnley to beat both teams. So having had that one in the bank, I would say with Ormskirk having won it last year, are they going to get a full side? They're not going quite so well in the league. It's just not quite happening for them this year. So, but it's still going to be a very, very good game of cricket. A couple of others. Reigate Priory got turned over by Sutton of Surrey. Surrey clubs doing well in this, could be interesting. Bridgewater of the Whipple beat St Cross. That was actually pretty comfortably after being bowled out for 185. Thought that was going to be a bit closer than that, but they knocked St Cross over for 138. Matt Burton with 5 for 47. Peterborough Horsford. Peterborough doing all right as well, aren't they? 256 for 5. Bowled Horsford out for 203. And then East Molesey, Shepherd's Bush with 247. So I think there's some big clubs left, but a couple that maybe aren't there. Well, one that maybe isn't there. Barton Green, they got bowled out by Smethwick. I think Smethwick maybe with the stronger team there. 175, and then obviously Ormskirk beat Wallasey. Ormskirk struggled for runs recently, but they got it done 230 for 9 and 40 overs, and Wallasey bowled out for 152. And then the other Birmingham League tie. This is probably one that you maybe could see coming. Nolan Dorridge 251 for 8 and 40. Hales Owen bowled out there. So, there's a few clubs still left in you thinking, they'll win and they'll win and they'll win, but whether they meet each other, that's the question. Who's going to knock who out?
So go on then. Who's going to knock who out? I'm going to give you the 8 ties coming up, Hugh. I want an instant answer. Nolan Dorridge versus Spondon.
Nolan Dorridge.
Ockbrook versus Smethwick.
Smethwick.
New Farnley versus Ormskirk.
New Farnley.
Leyland versus Woodlands.
Woodlands.
Wimbledon versus Sawston of Abraham.
Wimbledon.
Peterborough Town versus Sutton.
Peterborough.
Bath versus Shepherd's Bush.
I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, not sure on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure. I'm going to stay on the fence on that one.
And Teddington versus Bridgewater.
Well, yeah, I think Teddington. Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree on that one, apart from depends on what side Bridgewater can put out, and depends on the NCCA games. They've got a lot of NCCA players there. I think I would agree with, I'm 50-50 on probably 3 or 4 games, actually, which is probably not the wrong way to be. We are neutral, obviously, but what really intrigues me in particular is the 2 Birmingham League sides, Nolan Dorridge versus Spondon, versus the 2 Derbyshire League sides, Ockbrook and Smethwick. So you've just seen 2 Derbyshire teams beat 2 Nottinghamshire teams. Now they're both going to go up against top Birmingham League sides, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I really hope one of the Derbyshire lads or both of the Derbyshire teams win 3 just from a locals perspective. But I just think that particularly Nolan Dorridge are going to have too much, aren't they?
We are guaranteed one thing, which will be very pleasing, though. We're absolutely guaranteed that one of the semi-finalists will come from the Birmingham League or the Derbyshire League. So I'm not saying where I'll be going to for a semi-final, but it won't be bloody far, will it? Whereas down south, you could end up with anything from Surrey, East Anglia, Northamptonshire, Surrey again, Whipple, 2 Middlesex sides left in, and another Whipple one as well. When
was the last Surrey club to win the ECB Club National Championship?
So in answer to that question, I'm looking back, and I have a funny feeling that no one from the Surrey Championship has won this title before. The Middlesex Prem have been very successful. Teddington have won it before, so we know that that's there. The last 5 to 10 years, there's definitely been a push to the northern sides winning more than the southern sides. But in answer to that question, I don't think a Surrey side has won a national yet. Wimbledon did win the National T20 3 years ago. So they've had that success. But that makes it interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, it should be fun. You'd think, the Surrey leagues with their depth, but they do kind of switch off at the end of August, don't they? So I wonder if that's maybe held them back. It'd have to be good to look through the old semi-finals and see who's sort of petered out after a strong run, pros going home, those kind of things. So
absolutely,
that might hold them back.
You say looking back to the semi-finals. I am going to look back at the history on play cricket over the next few days, because I do think, and I'm pretty sure of this, that the tie that we've got, that I will be at, New Farnley versus Ormskirk, I am pretty sure, looking at my records, that is the first time ever the National Club Championship winners have gone up against the National T20 winners from the previous season. I describe it as, it's the Community Shield, isn't it? That's what we really wanted. And the fact that we're going to see it in round 4 of the National Club Championship. New Farnley, there was a good crowd there against York yesterday. I'm sure there'll be an even better crowd when Ormskirk turn up in a few weeks' time. And to be fair, 2 clubs who've been wonderful supporters of everything we do. And to see the guys at Aidan Langley, Alex Lilly, Ryan McKendry, Fletch and Ed Brown, all the guys from New Farnley, go up against 90, Cam, George Lavelle with 100 at the weekend, Toby Bulcock spinning that. But this could be hope not a damp squib, because obviously we don't know what's going. But this could be one of the best games of cricket that we'll see in a long time, because you and I both know how good Ormskirk looked last year, and New Farnley were outstanding in what they did, not just the Bradford Premier League, but winning the National T20. So you're going to see some high caliber players there.
It should be a really good game of cricket, shouldn't it? It's a shame that this is that National Club Cricket Weekend that you've harped on about that is being ignored by up on high. It would be nice if actually there was if you could do it. It was the ECB Club National Knockout Weekend, and then it really make a big deal of all these games, wouldn't it? But
it would be, and ironically, that is the following weekend after that.
It's the weekend after that.
It just happens to be the weekend after that. But hey ho,
you get some. You really would get some quality cricket that weekend, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'll be in touch with the captains of all of the sides there, the 16 sides that are left. Some great supporters of what we do, the Premier League Cricket Club there, and not only some great supporters, but actually some guys who were really good to get information back on what's going on before and after those games. And it'd be good. Is there a surprise side in there? No. Yeah, I don't think there is.
Peterborough maybe. They've caught me out a bit this year.
Yeah.
I'd say Peterborough probably the one that maybe I wasn't expecting to go quite so deep.
What I will say is, if you have got time to look at it, just go and have a look at the sides that were put out by various people and NCCA players who were playing. I did say it last week, didn't I? There's definitely some clubs who've gone, we are playing for the National Club Championship. NCCA could do one for a week.
That's it, yeah.
And it's when it gets serious that way, that's what's going to happen. But then you look at the next round, Sawston. Will their NCCA players be playing, or will they be travelling to Wimbledon? Yeah, that's a massive game. You can't
play. You've got to go to Wimbledon. I mean, you've got to.
Surrey Championship title holders from last year versus East Anglia title holders. Great stuff in it. Yeah. It's what it's all about, isn't it? So, I think we'll do a special the week before that on just these fixtures.
You say they're travelling to Wimbledon. They are travelling to Wimbledon, are they? Is this during Wimbledon fortnight? When is it?
July the 12th.
Oh, no, that's the week after, isn't it? It's the week after.
No, I think it is.
No, it's the week after. No, you're Wimbledon right. It is. No, it's Wimbledon final day, isn't it? So I wonder if that might get switched.
No, it'll either get switched or they'll move it back a week to the wet weather week.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, God, can't do anything about that. Wimbledon will have the home games in the league pushed away from the Wimbledon fortnight, because they do that every single year. But the National Club Championship, National Club Championship is a bit different there, isn't it? So, hey, all the fun of the fair, plenty going on there, definitely. So,
yeah, very good.
You got much cricket this week yourself now?
No, quiet week, I think. Quiet week, which has been nice. Junior cricket, always, but no, it's a quiet one.
Yeah, I have the pleasure of the test match on Thursday, and then back on analyst duty on Friday night to go to see Lancashire go play at Leicestershire.
I am going to the test match on Sunday. I'm not thinking of that week. That's Sunday, so that's too far away.
Sunday, it's a while off, and then busy weekend next weekend again. There's cricket all over the place, and then I'm actually still going on that tour the week after. I'm going up to the northeast the weekend. It's going to be a North Yorkshire South Durham game, and I'll be looking at the table to decide which one to go to there, because
the warmest one.
The warmest one, because they're all on the bloody coast, to say the least. So, have a good one, mate. I'll see you next week.
See you, mate.